research experiences which yes, so Dr. Kamalika has a huge research experience which can't be mentioned in a short time. So let's begin. Before we begin, I would like to invite Dr. Amrish Chandra, Professor, Dean of School Pharmacy, to welcome our guests of the session.
Hello and very welcome to the event. So it's a pleasure to have you, and thanks, Dr. Pankaj, for gracing bringing such an esteemed speaker on the panel. So we're just going through your CV, and we saw that you had done a graduation degree in 2017, like all our students are doing. And then straight away from 17, you took a flight to US directly, and probably you did a research assistant position in US, and then you that converted into a PhD, and after PhD probably immediately you joined Merck and other companies over there. So during the course of discussion, obviously Dr. Pankaj will be discussing about all these things, but it's a very big inspiration for everyone that just after graduation you could get this opportunity and you could go straight away. Most of the time the students would like to plan for a PG over here and then they would go for abroad. But so we'll see to it how the things worked in your way and how the things actually turned out. And with this, I welcome you to the online webinar. Welcome.
Okay, thank you so much first and foremost for inviting me today here to speak on behalf of literally everyone, because yeah, you have my CV, you have seen the whole journey of what I have been through. And thank you, Pankaj, firstly to approaching me for giving and also giving me this opportunity to help other students, because I have been in that shoe. So I know there are a number of questions everyone could have, and I'll be more than happy to answer each and every questions as we proceed ahead for this session. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. So how do we want to proceed?
So we'll begin with just you briefing about something about your background, from where do you belong to, and how did you get into BIT Mesra, and then how the things worked up, and how did you get interest in especially vaccine and biotech domain?
Of course. Okay, so I have a very interesting story for that. So let me start with, so I am a girl from a very small town in Jharkhand, which is Hazaribagh. So being there, but my father is a professor. So being a daughter of a professor, I always had a knack towards doing something out of the box. But growing up, I was never like someone who was always interested in studies. So I always had to be like, my father always had to be behind me so that I can at least pass initially. But with time, I think so I realized that, okay, I need to do something out of my career so that I can get a recognition. So I think, I'm not sure if everyone, but most of the B Farm first try for medical. It was same for me. For me, first, it was trying for MBBS. I did not get through it, but I was getting dental, which was not something I was interested in. So end of it, I thought B Farm would be my first go-to place. Then I think so my board scores were good enough. That was one of the criteria. And also I had some like decent marks for the NEET. So I got admission in B Farm for BIT Mesra. And then my journey started there. First year, no clue what I'm doing out there. But I think since second year, same thing for me. So what inspires me is my seniors or someone who I see someone like achieving something. And that inspires me a lot to work towards that. So I saw a few of the seniors who did their M.Pharm from BIT, and after that they were pursuing PhD from US. And after that, I'm like, okay, can I also try to do something? Because that time for me, it was like, okay, I want to go to US, I want to have a different life. That's it. It was nothing about research, no research, nothing. It was just I have to go to US. And after that, I think around second year, I tried to do my own research, and I got to know that if I have a 4-year bachelor's degree from India, I can directly apply for PhD. So for me, it was all like, since second year, I started to plan my way out, what I need to do so that my CV could stand out of everyone, so that a professor can see my CV out of a big pool of CVs and they can pick me. So then I started to work towards maybe some projects, some review articles, which actually never got published. So I did try, but it was not published.
It was all about experiences.
Yes, totally. It was about experiences. Also, how you are trying to make your SOP. I know that there is a question known as SOP. How you are fitting your SOP in a way that you can reach out to a professor, you can have a good conversation. It's very important that you connect well, you can converse well, you have to be very confident. Let it be a PhD interview, let it be a job interview, let it be anything. You have to be very proficient in your conversation.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
cannot just like, so you have to work on your communication skills. And I was always scared communicate first. I'm like, okay. So I think with giving presentations and everything, I was able to work towards that itself. So that's what I worked on since my second year. That time GRE was something important. I'm not sure how much right now it's important, but I'm pretty sure good schools still need GRE score. So I looked into different online platforms because from BIT, I can only do is online classes. For GRE Edge, there was something known as GRE Edge that time. So after my classes, I used to solve those questions and everything. TOEFL, I would say it was still pretty much easy because I myself is from a convent background. So my English was still fine at that end, but still TOEFL was not only about speaking or reading. It was also about how you can listen and then you can answer. So TOEFL is something I would say it took me like fourth year. I just prepared for a few months and that was fine. But GRE needs good practice because my background in 11, 12 was not maths and I never loved maths, but still. So that's how I started preparing up. In my fourth year, I made sure that I'm working with a professor, like project, which, okay, I'm not sure if it will get published or not, but I made sure that I'm at least doing something that I know I can write out in my CV and I can talk about it if I get any interviews. And I think fourth year, I started applying for, like, aggressively, I started applying because whenever you apply, you also pay a fee, which is not like, it's not cheap. You need a credit card, you need to pay a fee. So it was a lot of things that I had to figure out that time. But also when you give your GRE itself, you get chance to pick and choose some schools. And what mistake I did, I chose the top-notch school. And I don't think so. I was intelligent enough that I'll get all the top-notch school that time. So that was wasted. But anyways, from there, I think I got lucky as well. I got picked up by one of the professor in University of Tennessee Health Science Center, and that was the lab I got in. That time again, I'm like, okay, 5 years PhD. It will go. I had no idea what after 5 years. So I started without anything. Like I was not sure what I would be going through. Coming here, everything was like, okay, wow, that's all good stuff. But coming here is a big challenge. New place, new people. But I'm lucky that I got people, friends who were good here. But my lab was not that good initially. So it was a cancer biology based lab. I thought to change. The first few years I thought to change, but luckily my professor moved out. I got to move into a different lab, which was vaccine actually. And I think getting the zest of the research was when I started working with the other professor, working with vaccine. So my PhD was majorly with Lyme disease vaccine. So it's a recombinant protein-based vaccine that I was working on and trying to generate a new vaccine candidate. So working with my new PI, I think I was able to think a lot like a researcher rather than just like a new kid who is here in the research field. So there was different challenges. I was challenged because PhD is very challenging, especially I don't have too much idea of how the situation is in India, but here I feel like it's struggle of both like surviving in a different state, in a different country, as well as trying to figure out the research. You won't be spoon-fed. Your PI would just be like, you have to figure it yourself, otherwise think about your PhD. So that was something that triggered me a lot to work towards it. So that helped me learn how to troubleshoot. Next thing was from there is I always, as I said, at second year, I knew that I have to go for a PhD abroad and then I worked towards it. In my PhD second year, again, I knew I have to go to industry. Academia here was not something I was preferring because it's different. It's not, it was more about bringing the grants and everything. And I myself never saw me at that place. I was more into industry, cutting edge research, which could directly benefit patient life. So working there, I tried really hard getting an internship. So internship was very crucial for my career. And that time, Moderna being one of the top notch in mRNA vaccine, because I think for COVID, Moderna and Pfizer were the two ones which were here like that time in the top. So I got lucky, as well as I tried to crack the interview in any way I could. And I got an internship and I would say co-op in Moderna. There I learned about my mRNA vaccine, which currently I'm working on as a senior scientist here at Merck. I got the experience there, exposure about how an industry is working here, especially like if I want to target big pharma after my graduation, which is very difficult here. The competition for the job maybe I am applying, there are 200 to 300 applicants. So it's more like you have to make your CV or you're self-confident enough that you know everything what is there in your CV. Co-op done, it was good enough. My manager was very happy. Back again, completing my PhD. It took some time. And then I started with my interviews. And again, I targeted only pharmaceutical industries. So at that time, it was again like preparing for my interviews and also what industry I want to target. So everyone would love to go for a high impacted big pharma, I would suggest, right? But it's not that easy. So there was rejections and there was like a lot of mix and match thing. But I think end of the day, you have to be confident in yourself, like what you can do. So I'm like, luckily, I was able to like hit this. I started my job last year here at Merck. And I think since then, I'm really happy working there, learning new science, new technique. And again, right now I'm working in the mRNA field again. So yeah, this is like my pretty much a nutshell what my overall life was about.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a very lovely introduction. So let's now begin with the questionnaire. If
Yeah, of course.
so, Ankit. Oh, yes, thank you.
First of all, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening or good morning from me.
And it's really very good for us that you are connected with us. So my question is, M Pharma in India and MS in research from universities abroad, how these two paths different in terms of curriculum, research opportunities, career prospects, and overall experience?
Okay, so for this first question, my first answer is I haven't done an MPharm in India. So maybe I won't be able to tell a lot about the MPharm, but I know there is a coursework and there is also a project, which I think as a last year BPharm also we did. So I think you get that exposure also out there, like how you need to work as a researcher, because half of the curriculum, like Pankaj could chime in more on this because he did a MPharm, I know, that you have to do your coursework, the project, as well as look for job options there as well. For me, abroad, I did a PhD, not MS. So MS and PhD is also two different things doing here. Sometimes MS are not funded. And studying in US could be very expensive, no doubt. Like people take a lot of loan. For engineering side, sometimes people take loan, they get good job, and then it's paid off. But for MS, unless you're getting into a good industry, it's difficult to manage that loan. On the other hand, for PhD, it's full scholarship. So it's full scholarship, you get a stipend, you are either a research assistant, that means you don't have to take any classes or TA or anything else, you just do your research, that is based on your PI's grant. Or sometimes you have to take some courseworks for different students. So being in pharmacy, I initially used to take, like, I was a teaching assistant for one of the compounding lab, like the pharmaceutics lab. So partially my stipend used to come from there, partially from my PI. So, and based as per the research thing, I know more about the US aspects. I feel like I got a lot of exposure to different kind of techniques, different kind of instrumentations. So I feel like that helped me to broaden up my level of thinking as a researcher too much. So that's what I would answer here. But for the MPharm part, I don't think so. I have too much information on that because I myself have not done that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Did I miss anything from that question?
Yes, ma'am, I get it.
So, ma'am, I want to ask the second question. So, ma'am, apart from the confidence and the CV part building, what we need else to do to pursue an MS research in abroad, like
SOP. I think you need a good SOP, which should connect to the professor you are. So generally what I did, I went through the university websites and I looked for different professors. For professors,
Okay.
I went through their bio, where they have what research they do, went through few of their papers. I mean, I used to maintain an Excel sheet. Okay, this is the university, this is the professor, this is his research that he did. This interests me. Your interest is the first place, I feel like. Then you try to talk about yourself, like very professionally, that, okay, this is why I want to do this research. This is what interests me to go to your lab. So I think this is how you need to elaborate your SOP. The LOR, you need to have letter of recommendations from people you have worked with, such as your professors with whom you're doing project, or if so I think majorly at BPharm level, it's your professor. So I chose 3 of my professors who were good enough to give me recommendations without even asking anything. So I'm like, okay. So I think that's what I would suggest, that these are really important. Making connections. That time LinkedIn was not that active, like 2017 when I was trying, it was not. So right now LinkedIn, I think you could just blindly add professors through your LinkedIn, I would say. I used to email them, but I think right now LinkedIn is a very good source of connection, I would say.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Mhm.
Next question, please.
So that exactly means that there is no one size fits all kind of a thing. It's not like you can make one thing and just
No.
shoot it to all the professors and you will get it.
No, never do that, because once I think I did by mistake did something, I sent the same format to, and that the professor literally, no one replies most of the time. But that time the professor replied, I think you sent me a wrong email. So be very, very cautious about this, that you don't do this. From a mistake I did, I'm telling you this. And not just for this, even for like job, I feel like you have to tailor your CVs according to the job posting. So I feel like, yeah, it's not a one format. I used to have like different folders, SOP for this school, that school. So yeah, that
It's
is
all
important.
about like hard work, nothing else. Dedication.
Yes, it's hard work and dedication. So that's why for me, job was not a thing. I wanted to also try for job. I think I tried for one company that time, but my father was a good guide to me. Like you can't put both your feet in like two different boats. You have to choose one. So I was totally focused here, even not for like GPAT or something. So
Yes,
it
ma'am.
was, for me, it was that. So yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question, please.
Mhm.
And how early should students start their preparation and planning process? Because as we are in third year now,
Mhm.
and there are a lot of people who are electing to be also want to go abroad, be it US, be it Europe, any other part of country, big players. So what do you think? What is the best part? What is the best semester or year we should start our preparation?
Now you are in your third year, you should start now, at least figuring out. So preparation for GRE, first thing I would suggest you, I don't want to give false informations here. For our time, GRE was compulsory for all like kind of schools. Right now many schools don't do GRE, which is a good thing in some way. So first of all, try to sort out the universities of your interest and check if do they need GRE. Because if they don't need GRE, you don't have to prepare for GRE. GRE prep is was a very big thing, I feel like, because that's a determining step for you. So in that case, you can already eliminate out that you don't need to prepare for GRE. That makes your work 50 times less, to be honest, because TOEFL is easy. I think TOEFL is just about the English. That's fine, but also sorting out what research background you want to go. Sometimes you don't feel like, okay, what to expect when I'm just starting to get into a specific college or university. So I would suggest start preparing now. At least make an Excel sheet of what you are interested in, which schools you want to go, what professors you want to target. So some of the schools, they do rotations. For example, you are directly admitted into the program, and then you go to different labs, I think every 3 months or 6 months, and then you pick a professor and a professor picks you. Some of the university you directly go to one of the PI. So I think these are few of the things which you can help yourself out only by looking into those universities, is what I would say. So yeah, right now is a good time because you're already in your third year, but it's not too late. But I would suggest starting now.
Thanks a lot.
Interaction is important, I guess.
Yeah.
What? Sorry.
Ma'am, interaction is important, I guess.
Interaction, yes. If you could start reaching out to professor in LinkedIn, that okay, this is my profile, I'm interested, because LinkedIn is a big thing now, and everyone uses LinkedIn, I feel like.
And at this
So
juncture, do these admission consultants, do they help out in searching out universities or narrowing down to some bit?
admission consult, because I don't have idea about the consultants here,
Yeah.
because I was
But
not
I've seen
knowing
many
about
of the
that.
students going to abroad by their own. They don't need consultants and all.
Yes, like
Yeah, they
yeah,
get try it out for 2-3 months. Use your brain, and what you said is
yes,
very correct. You screen out the
yes,
medium level universities according to your marks and
yes,
everything, and you will
yes.
click the thing.
Yes. And try to more than consultant, like I really don't know what's this consultant part right now going on in India, like if they are trying to sort out or what, if they're charging or whatever. But I would suggest the best part is getting to know seniors. I think because that's the very big thing. Right now, you know me, you can reach out to me as well, or try to know different students who are in that university. So I don't know what exactly consultants are right now doing in India, but I knew last what I knew is like there are different coaching institutes that coach for GRE or TOEFL. That's what I knew, but I was not knowing about the consultant part.
Mom,
That's
does
interesting.
cold emailing helps when to professors that we do? Because in PhD, we need to first cold email professors to reach out their labs, and then only I think we can get admissions from respective labs that we like.
Can you repeat your question? It was not audible to me.
Ma'am, do we need to give cold emails to professors a lot? Because as in PhD, we need to first get into the lab first before reaching out the college or university for
So
PhD.
if I'm getting your question correct, I would suggest go to the university website, check for professors, and then reach out to professors to know that are they taking any students. But this thing is still what you would be doing in your fourth year. Right now is the prep, I would say, because I don't think so. Next year, August, you are planning to go to US, correct? Because you are in your third year right now. So try to sort out what time you are ready. If you are ready, like maybe 2026, if you are ready to go next year, try to make that connection with those professors. This year, list down the professors, list down the universities, make sure what are the requirements of those universities. So that's what I would say now. And as I say, you should prep right now. It's about what exams you need to take. So that's what you do in your third year. Prepare for your GRE. Early fourth year, I think you can give, if needed, GRE. Or TOEFL, I think it's 6 months of validation, I feel like. So you can do that next year as well. So this year, it's all about prep. Yeah.
Next question, please. Okay.
Nidhi, you are muted. You have to unmute yourself.
Please unmute yourself first.
Yeah.
So she's unmuted.
Good evening, ma'am. So my question from you is, how should students go about selecting the right university and program for their master's in research? And are there's some
Hey, Bhagwan.
specific factors or resources they should consider during their search?
Okay, so for this, I would say, what is your interest in research? Like earlier for me, it was drug delivery. I was too fascinated with drug delivery based, like pharmaceutics. So
Actually,
first
ma'am,
of
I
the,
don't have much.
what can you repeat? She's not audible.
Nidhi, you are muted
You are
again.
muted. Yeah, you are muted.
Yes, ma'am, there is some network issue, that's why.
Okay. So you were saying you don't have much experience on that part right now, like what research you are too much interested into? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, I don't
So-
have much idea about that.
Okay.
I
So
don't
in
have
that
much idea.
case, what I would suggest is first try to judge what kind of marks you could if GRE is needed again, what kind of marks you would be expecting. Sometimes you don't need to have a lot of research experience because some universities, they do rotation where you get an opportunity to go to a different lab, know about like 3 months about what research they are doing, then again shuffle into a different, that time you'll get an exposure. But for that, I think first thing is important for you is to jot down the universities you want to go. And you can, for that, you have to do your homework, going into like just list of universities in United States. If US is what you're targeting, United States, for pharmaceutical science based research, you'll have a list of university, you'll note it down, you'll go into the university websites. If you find something interesting, you read a paper. You have to read like research papers if that interests you, because first thing as a researcher you need to do is have a knack to read research papers. That time you will understand, am I interested in PKPD, am I interested in drug delivery, am I interested in protein chemistry, what. So if some or the other kind of background knowledge you get, that gives you a little information, okay, this is what I want to do. So that's what you should start with, like getting to know what exactly you are interested in. As a BPharm, what subject is more interesting to you? Is it pharmaceutical analysis? Is it like pharmaceutics? Because that also gives you a little bit of that idea that this interests me more. Based on that, you can also try to understand what your knack is about. So yeah, that's what I would answer you.
Thank you, ma'am. So we are moving to the next question. Khushi? She is. Where is she?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. You specified many tests like GRE, IELTS, and TOEFL. What do you think is more important if I am preparing for my MS program in research? And can you give some tips that are more important to crack this exams like GRE or a TOEFL?
Okay. So I think in US or Canada, TOEFL, and Canada doesn't need GRE is what I know. But US maybe GRE is needed. And IELTS is for European universities. I could be wrong, so don't count me on that. But I know US majorly it's TOEFL. TOEFL is important. It's TOEFL is pretty much easy, I would say. Every university has a cutoff. A lot of time they have a cutoff. Like for TOEFL, you need to have 90 plus or something like that. So that's what you have to target. What's the cutoff of each university? If that answer is not there in the university website, email out to them, the office of admission or something. What are your basic qualifications? Yes. So in that way, they'll tell you, okay, this is the minimum GRE if they need. Yeah, this is also a good thing. Thanks for this question. Because you can, if you don't get a lot of answer about is GRE needed for that university or not, just reach out, email out to the office of admission. If GRE is needed, if needed, what's the cutoff? For TOEFL, what's the cutoff? So I think each universities have a different level of cutoffs. And there are different online platforms, and also in many big states, I feel like there are different coaching institutions that also coach. I know in Ranchi, it was not available, so I did some online thingy. So that is also a good place where you can start your coaching for GRE. I know many people, they just go for GRE coaching, but it's important to know that the universities, like major of the university right now, they are taking GRE or not, because what I know, many universities are after COVID, they have stopped taking GRE, which is not good, is what I would say, because that deteriorates the quality a lot, is what I have heard. But it's what it is. So I think you can check with each of the university on that aspect.
Okay.
But
Thank you
ma'am,
so much.
mainly IELTS is like standard, I guess. IELTS.
In US, I think IELTS you can also do here. I haven't taken IELTS exam. I took TOEFL. So
Okay.
TOEFL is something all the US university, because my target was always US. It was not Europe or even like Canada. So I think you can take either of two, because both of them have same pattern. I think just the scoring bands are different. I think IELTS has some banding thing.
Yes, ma'am.
7
9
bands
or
are.
8. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I don't have too much idea about TOEFL. And I think, sorry, IELTS, but for TOEFL, I think 90 or above is a standard score, is what I would expect. So, yeah.
So, moving on to the next question. Okay.
How many letters of recommendations are typically required, and who should students ask for these recommendations?
Three.
And what makes a stronger LOR?
I think if the professor can explain well how you worked with the professor, how you were able to achieve something like you have worked with your professor, right? As a project or in some coursework in any way. So I think majority of professors, they have an idea of what a letter of recommendation is a student who is planning to go abroad. So majorly it would be how the student worked with the professor and how the student is like out of the box. So that's what these letter of recommendation would expect from professor. So yeah, that's what I would say.
How many LORs?
I think three LORs. Yeah. So from 3 professors, I remember getting 3 LORs from 3 of my professors from BIT Lecture. And it was that same three professors always.
Because you worked under them. They might know you.
Yes. Like I was a good student for 2 of them, and 1 I actually worked with. So yeah, try to maintain a good rapport with your professors. That is very important. Otherwise,
just be only professors, or it can also be from the places where we did internships.
That I think that would also be
that would
yes, that could also count. But is it like a research internship? That would be more, because this is a research-based work thing that you would be targeting, right?
Yeah,
So,
and the
like from a
professors would
research
also like to look at how long you have been associated with that professor. So they can tell that over a period of 2 years, 4 years,
2 years, 3 years, that's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
So, ma'am, my question is like it's a taboo to for a B Farm student personally. Like I feel it's very difficult for approaching the abroad. So, how to gain that
No,
mentality?
it's not a taboo. You have to be consistent. That was also me first year. Like, it's not happening. It's always like you feel
Yes, ma'am.
that you need to work towards it. You first explain yourself. No, it's happening because I'm determined to do it. If you're determined to do anything, you work towards it, and then I think so. You do it. You yourself start to reach out to different people when you know that you just become shameless. I feel like I was just shameless approaching to different professor. Out of 10, maybe 2 replied or something, but it never bothered me. Even for jobs, I think I tried to send my CV to I don't know how many people over in LinkedIn. So few they reply back, okay, I'll give you a referral. Majority of people they don't. So yeah, don't think, and yeah, just don't think about anything. Just do what you need to do. That's what I feel like. People will be there to help you. Out of 10, even 1 people is there who would be helping you. So yeah, that's what I would say.
What kind of research experience is beneficial, like practical or and we are in just a fourth year, so like we don't have that much.
I know, because as a B Farm, you cannot expect to have a lot of experience.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
obviously, a professor has to be like open-minded, where he knows that the student is coming from a background where he's like he literally has to be trained even on pipetting. So it depends a lot on the professors, that are they willing to give you that chance, because when they interview you, they get that feeling that okay, I think this student has that potential, that it can be like trained. No one starts working like since they are like out there, like not a fresh B Farm will be expected to do anything. Same it was for me. I didn't even know how to pipe it, right? But it's like that start. You need that start. But what I would recommend, if in your fourth year, if you can do some project where you can get little experience about wet lab, like, or try to shadow some PhDs in your
Actually, ma'am,
institute.
we are having a subject called project school, so I guess that will do.
Yeah.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
not, you might have master's students, or you might have PhD students who are working on projects. So if you have that kind of someone, shadow them. Just see what they're doing, trying to understand what type of lab work they are doing. So that is also something you can do. So reach
Ma'am,
out,
but
just reach out.
it will be very basic, so that will work. Like very basic formulation working and
So at least it's better than nothing, right?
yes,
So
ma'am.
I would say at least get an idea of that. If someone asks, you can at least say that okay, I have some basic knowledge on formulation, because no one would know that you know flow cytometry, you know this and that sequencing at a B Farm level.
Yes,
That's professor is something
yes,
like
ma'am.
that whom you are approaching and they expect that. I don't think so. You should even go to that professor.
Okay, ma'am. So next question. Please ask the next question.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
My question is, what should student focus on when writing their SOP?
So the answer here would be SOPs. Again, as I said, it's personalized for each for each professor or each university. So for me, when I prepared the SOP, it was focusing majorly on the professor's profile. So I tried to read few of the papers from that specific professor. What part of those paper helped me, I explained that a bit. I connected a little bit about why I want to do this PhD. I said about, okay, because I'm from a family background with researchers and doctors, so I'm more inclined towards doing this. That's how I start with my work. Then going through, I went through your profile. This is the paper that intrigued me a lot. This is the paper. That's why I feel that for my career ahead, I would like to pursue something or be part of your lab so that I can work on this part. So that's how you show your interest, what the professor has done. Going ahead, what you have worked in your B Farm, like any project experience, any leadership experience or any kind of good experience that you have had in your 4-year course frame here at your university. I think that is a way where you would be doing like a 1-page kind of a SOP. And I think there are different examples of SOPs. I just picked different SOPs from Google just to see the format and everything, and then I put my stuff. This was back in like 2017.
A line of encouragement or caution when the students are using ChatGPT.
Oh, so at my time there was no ChatGPT, so I know partially you can just look into ChatGPT, but don't copy paste. I think that is a problem where you can get caught, because again, it's US here. Here it's like the first thing they would screen is for ChatGPT based answers or not. So I would suggest don't do that. Use Grammarly. Grammarly is very good to make sure that your grammar and everything. I had that subscription, I know, so that your English is all well managed. So that is something I would say. ChatGPT can give you ideas, but don't use entirely the ChatGPT ideas is what I would say. Always pull different SOPs to see how you can use different formats to make your SOP is what I would say. So mix and match different SOPs, but yeah, no ChatGPT, I would say, to avoid any issues or disqualification.
I will actually, may I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually, I will request to Dr. Samanta to please guide us, our student, about the publication purpose. What is the how they are important for the particular this kind of things, please.
Okay. So if you are trying for a PhD just after bachelor's, you won't be expected to have a number of publication. It's very good if you have at least one review article. The review article is not something where you need data. It's just like something that you're interested, try to work with your professor. Right now, it's a good time in your 3rd year when you can work with at least a review article, because I'm not sure how much you can publish a paper, research paper right now, but I would really encourage to have that. I personally didn't have that, but I would regret that. It would have been good if I had one. But yeah, that's what I would suggest here. It's good to have at least a review paper when you are trying to go for PhD. Basically, when it's PhD, for MS, I'm not sure how much you would need a publication, but for PhD, the professor will be really impressed if you have at least a review article. So,
Okay,
yeah.
ma'am. So moving to the next question.
Ma'am, as you talked about the SOPs, my question is like, when we make a SOP, what could be the common mistakes that we usually does not focus and let them off?
First thing is the language. Try to make your SOP in a very simple English language, not too much fascinating words or anything. So make sure that it's pretty simply aligned. Next would be, don't be too personal. Sometimes people, they talk a lot about personal stuff, this and that. No, they are not too much interested into it. It's good how you connect to the science, add 2 to 3 lines, but not being like too much personal is what I would say. Try to do your thorough research on the professor's background of what research he has done, so that when you're adding, you're not adding anything wrong, but you are, be concise, but write what is right, like from the professor's background. So this is something which I would say when you are writing SOPs.
Okay, it should be professional only.
Yes, it should be really like professional. Yeah.
And is there any thing by which we can know that the professor is taking the students or not?
Reaching out to the professors over LinkedIn, because when you connect, you can ask to your
One of my
to the
students, she
professor.
even said that if the professor has published or not published during a few years, then you can probably guess that he has got some fund or something or not.
I don't think so. It's a good way to judge that. Sometimes some old professors, they have a lot of funding, but they are already in that acme of their career where they don't care too much about publishing. So they still like get new students, and sometimes some lab in general, they publish really like late. New professors, but yeah, one thing is important. Some new professor who just got tenured, they would like to enhance their research profile a lot, because they are new in the field. They just started as an assistant professor. They just got an NIH grant. So in that case, I would say they would like to have more of like students. So yeah, based on the tenure, when you go to LinkedIn, you'll have like professors you will say, like when there's a description of how many years, when you say that they just got assistant professorship, like past 2 years or something, they are pretty much new. They would definitely like to hire more students because they are building that research profile. So yeah, this is one of the good way to understand which professors are like pretty much new and they are more actively into the research field right now.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the next question.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Go ahead.
Okay, so in between one of the answers you said that we have to improve our LinkedIn profile. And if I talk about my LinkedIn profile, I like mention my name only and the from which university I belongs. And after that, I don't know apart from this that what I have to add. So can you share some ideas that what we can add into our LinkedIn profile?
So what I mentioned as a B.Pharm level, it was more like utilizing your LinkedIn profile, because right now I don't know what, obviously if you have a list of publication, you add to your list of publication. If you have list of award, you add your list of awards. So you add all these things. If you're working on a project in your 4th year, you will add that as well. If you have worked on something, so there are different sections that, like, I don't know if you can just pull my LinkedIn account or anyone's LinkedIn account and you can see what all they have in their sections, what expertise you have, if you have anything. But I'm not sure at B.Pharm level, even I had that active LinkedIn account or not, because I pretty much had nothing in my profile. So right now it's more about whatever you have. If you have a poster presentation, add that. So it's more about whatever you have to make yourself like sellable. That's what pretty much I would say. So yeah.
Okay,
that's what I would
Basically,
say.
everybody looks at like what is your attitude towards research. So by attending lot many conferences, publishing or trying to publish things, or even failing and proving that you communicated your paper, it shows that yes, you are enthusiastic about it. So you failed, that is fine, but you tried it.
Correct.
That is the most important thing everybody will look at.
Yes. So update all those things and connect with, I would say right now it's more like connect with more and more people. The connection is very important. Like it's very important. Keep connections, connect with people. And I think, yeah, that's very, very important. And LinkedIn, like literally LinkedIn is a very good source of getting connected to people across overseas, I feel like.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, what are the funding opportunities or scholarship or any assistantship like students pursuing in MS research? Like any opportunity, any idea how to get them?
Okay, so for MS, I think for MS, majority of the universities, they don't give scholarship. I'm sorry to tell that. MS is a lot into, you have to get your own tuition fee. You can take loan. So there is also something like from India you can take, or few of the good like loan. I know that there is something here, but there are few of the institutions I know, they give loan to like few of the universities. Why few? Because they are 100% sure if they are giving loan to someone who is graduating from this university, they will get a good job. So they can pay it off. But for MS, one thing also you can do, you get the loan, you get in, down the lane within the semester, you can reach out to professors there if they have any research assistantship job in there. I think you can get it or not, and then you'll get some kind of a stipend, maybe few $100 per month, which can support you. Many people what also do here is they just get into a canteen service, or this is all different parts what I'm telling you what MS student can do here. They can get into dining services, so that also helps them to get some money. But in that place, you will need like a loan or something, because I'm not too much into the master's program if there are any more scholarships, because I myself, I didn't try for master's a lot. But for PhD, it's full funded. If you're getting PhD, you'll have full funding. Your tuition fee will be waived. You'll have stipend. The stipend values are different based on different universities and the different standard of living in different states, I feel like. So that's why I targeted PhD, because MS would have been too expensive for me as well.
Thank you, ma'am.
So yeah, that's what I would say for that.
Moving on to the next question. Utsav, do you want to ask something?
Yes.
Go on, please.
Hello.
Uh,
Hello.
Hi.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, my question is that how many letters of recommendations are typically required, and who should students ask for these recommendations? What makes a strong letter of recommendation?
So I think I already answered this question. It would be three. Majorly the professors that you have worked with. If you have done a project with some of the professor in fourth year, that would be something, because that's something I did in BIT. I did like a project with one of the professor, and two professors who know your work. Like you do a lot of like lab work per semester with those professors, so they know how you perform in the lab. So those professors also you can target. And majority of time, I think professors are pretty much known what they should write in the like a letter of recommendation, or they might ask you to give you a format which is easily available, what a letter of recommendation format should be there for any for approaching for abroad based studies. So I think right now internet is very flexible to give you all these informations, is what I would say.
So, ma'am, apart from LinkedIn profile or anything, any other platform you suggest, like?
Email is something, but it's still old. I feel like more than email. If you don't see anyone replying you in LinkedIn, I would say directly shoot email to their official email address. So that also sometimes catches. For me, I remember I used to just email them because that time LinkedIn was not a thing for me. So email is also something you can directly reach out to.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
And keep on following with them. Sometimes you send an email, they forget, or they purposefully don't reply, but then again ping them after 1 week or few days. So be consistent. Hopefully some or the other people will get back to you, is what I feel like. You cannot expect everyone to reply you. They are much more busier, I feel like. But there are still good people left in this world, so they might reach back to you, I feel like.
So, ma'am, like if we get discouragement, so like in between, no replies.
Happens, I know. When I feel like you have to keep consistent. You should have your family or friends with whom you can talk about your discouragement, because I used to bother my brother a lot. Nothing is happening, nothing is happening. So I think you need that kind of a space also where you can talk to people that, okay, this is not happening. You can reach out to me if you need, to be honest. So
Okay,
yeah, I'll try
Thank you,
to
ma'am.
get back as well. So I think this happens, like you get discouraged. Sometimes your scores don't go well, you get rejection. So this is part of the process, but be consistent is what I would say. So yeah,
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Don't be so discouraged that you just leave pursuing this. Yeah. Also
Thank you.
would also say connect with different students who you see are actively doing PhDs from different
Seniors.
universities. Seniors, I think right now Pankaj, it's just me right now, but it's not just me. There are so many more students around the world who have been through this same process. So build more connection, not only with the professors, but also the people who have been through this phase, I would say. So yeah, I think in BIT also there are so many people who have, like currently I know, who are doing PhD and everything. So I think that is also important, which will help you to get like that encouragement.
So, ma'am, my next question is, what are the potential career paths after MS in research? As it's like only taboo, stereotypical is scientist only. So, can you just?
No, so again, it totally depends on what your interest is. MS. So the good thing of MS is you can also go for PhD, because MS is a lot, again, here also coursework, and a part of it is project based, like thesis based MS if you want. After that, you can go for PhD. Personally, for me, I feel like 2 years MS, and after that PhD, it's better just try for PhD. So, and the other career path abroad is, the first thing is after PhD, you can go back to India. And I think you can join a company if you want as a scientist, or even you can go to academia. But I'm not sure that a PhD in US, after doing a PhD in US, can you be like a professor or something in a government institute in India? I think you can get some more
So
information
there
on
are
that.
a lot of IITs and all which are actively seeking professors who have done PhD and in fact postdoc from abroad. So the things are changing.
Okay.
Even a lot of
Then that's a
private
good thing.
universities
So I
are
still have.
preferring PhDs and postdoc from
Okay.
abroad. Yes, that's good.
So see, so you have the answer. So you have a good future back in India, because your experience here always counts. I feel like your experience here would count. here, staying here, I think so you can opt for postdoc. Again, if you are too much into academics, you can get for more like a postdoc, where you will gain a specific experience of writing grant. Because here, I think a big thing also here as well as in India is how to get more grant for your research. So I think as a postdoc, you think more as an independent PI for a project, you co-lead a project. So postdoc is an option if you need to be in a research. Getting an industrial job is an option where you have a mid-sized industry, startups, a big pharma. So these are few of the options after PhD you can go. Sometimes they directly don't hire big pharmas. They don't hire direct PhDs. I had an internship that helped me. I'll be very honest. You can try for internships during your PhD as well as your MS. That will be very fruitful. So this is something which I would say, yeah, try to hit like big pharmas. So I think right now, just after PhD, if you think these are few things, but apart from that, if you don't want to be in like the research thing, you can also next go for MBA. You can go for MBA, you can go in the business part of it. But me personally, I am not known to that field, so I cannot comment too much into it because I haven't done that. And right now I am mostly into research. So that's why this is all I would like to comment, like career after PhDs.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So next question, please.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am. My question is, ma'am, what advices will you give to the students who want to pursue the research passionately, but they're unsure about studying abroad?
So if you don't want to study abroad, I think India is also a very, very good place where right now research is being held really nice. There are big institutes. I don't know too much. I think there are IISR, the IITs. I think even Pankaj might know there are so many people from BIT who are doing right now PhD from IITs as well. I think there is exams that you need to prepare for. It's a separate thing. You have to prepare for those exams. I think NET, JRF, SRF, these all are, I think, few of the exams. I might be wrong, so please don't count on that because I'm not too much known on that aspect. But I think those are some of the exams that you can also look into and think of PhD from India. But I think you have to do your master's before that. And that would be you have to do GATE or GPAT. So you might have to prepare for GPAT. So you are open for anything. So yeah, that's what I would say. And I know like Pankaj also does a GPAT. He has a whole group of GPAT. So that is also something you can explore. So it's either of the other thing, whatever interests you. It's like there is nothing like a PhD abroad is everything or whatever it is. So it's all up to you what you want.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for information, ma'am. It was very grateful, like very knowledgeable. Like I got the so much encouragement. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I have been in that shoe. I know.
Yes,
like when
ma'am.
I was in my B.Pharm, I used to crave for these informations. We had one senior who used to come and we all used to just go to that senior. What should we do? What should we do? So I have been in that shoe. So
It's
this
very
is
confusing sometimes, like very confusing
I know
for all of
I
us.
know that. Yeah.
Thank
Many people, when I came here after my B.Pharm, many people here were shocked. Like, how did you do this after B.Pharm for PhD? I'm like, I think all you need is information. So yeah. So
And a curious mind, I guess.
yeah, you have to just work towards that thing.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Thank you, ma'am.
mhm.
Ankit, you are mute.
Okay.
Please unmute yourself.
Others can also ask. Rohit, you have any question? Rohit, do you have any question?
No, sir, I get my all answers.
Okay.
But sir, I have one, so I want to ask.
Please go on.
Okay, so ma'am, number of students used to feel confused at a point that what they have to choose, a job after B Pharma or MS or like M Pharma, because sometimes we feel that what we have to choose. And one of my roommate, when I was living in a PG, he said that he is doing M Pharma, and after that he said that just go for a company for 1 or 2 years and get some experience, and after that you try to do M Pharma and MS. So ma'am, can you please help us? What we
Okay,
have to choose?
so here my answer would be, I also wanted to do a job after B.Pharm. Who doesn't want to get money, right? But what I feel like, if you get a chance to complete your study, first finish your study. This is again something my father told me. That till the time you can finish whatever you can study. I think PhD is one of the highest level of education I can get. So that's what I heard. That's what I did. I know, like, you would like to have money, but if you do your masters or even like PhD, I think you get a stipend. It might not be too much, but also I don't expect after BPharm you would get like highly paid. I'm just being honest. You won't get highly paid after a BPharm degree. So for me personally, I would say finish your studies. If you want to only do your bachelor's and that's done for you, that's up to you. But I personally feel to go ahead in your career, you need to have more degrees. And it's not just because it's degree, it's because the experience that you also gain. You know more about yourself. Let it be masters, let it be PhD. It's what you feel comfortable. Many people, they start PhD, they don't feel that confident or comfortable doing a PhD, and it's totally okay. But at least they tried, and at least they know that, okay, this is not something I want to do. I had a friend who started with PhD. She's like, no, I don't think so. This is my thing. She switched to MBA. So she was doing MBA now. So you are giving yourself that time. So that's what I would suggest, that finish your studies if you can. And there is much more to just.
Although it is irrelevant question, but MBA colleges require work experience. So like I don't know
So
if I should ask
so then
this.
if MBA is your goal, then you have to prepare your profile according to MBA. That's what I would say. It totally depends what you want. If MBA needs 2-year work experience, then go for 2-year work experience and then go for MBA. So it's
Yes,
all
ma'am.
about what you want to do. So yeah, that's what I would say here.
Thank you, ma'am.
But
Any
Amika,
question?
Amika, it is not
Yes,
compulsory.
ma'am. Yes, sir.
Having work
Yes, sir.
experience for doing MBA, it is not compulsory. For
As much
executive MBA, you have to be work somewhere. Otherwise, you do not need to work somewhere for getting MBA.
Yeah, I also don't think, because I had friends.
It's not
I'm not sure if this is university dependent, if different universities have different criteria, but I had friend from BPharm. Like I did, we both passed out from 2017. She went for MBA and I went here for PhD. So I think it's okay. After BPharm also you can start with MBA.
You can start MBA after BPharm without any job experience.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So
All you
any
need
questions?
research. All you need to do is
Yes.
your homework. End of the day, it's you who has to work. We can
Yes, ma'am.
coach you, give you information, but I think it's you who has to work towards it. So, yeah.
Smart work and plus hard work.
Yes, smart work, majorly.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions, students, other my fellow classmates? Anyone?
I want to ask one question. Do you think
Yes, please go on.
students going after their BPharm for PhD have a little more edge than students going directly after
I
BPharm?
cannot hear her thoughts very clearly. I cannot
Ishita,
hear.
you are not clear. Please
Am I
try to.
audible now?
You
Yes.
are audible,
Yes.
but I guess it's very close from mic, I guess. थोड़ा सा दूर रख अपने आप को, थोड़ा सा.
Now am I audible correctly?
Yeah, just try to
You are.
again. Let me see. I can
Do
get
you think students going after their MPharm for PhD has a little bit more edge than students going directly after BPharm in job areas? There's a lot of confusion that you should skip MPharm or not.
I don't think so abroad it matters, because majority of students who are from US, they finish their undergrad and then they start PhD. So here, I honestly don't think that 2 year of MPharm adds anything there, because your job, getting a job here counts. If you have a PhD plus a postdoc experience, you might get a bit of a hike in your salary if you have that postdoc, because other than that, I don't think so personally that would add anything up. Personally, I would suggest after your BPharm, just come for your PhD. Period. Not MS, PhD.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so
Ankit?
now is there anyone to ask the questions? Okay, thank
Okay,
you so
someone
much,
raised the
ma'am.
hand. Wait a minute, someone raised the hand. I guess 1 plus. Who is that? Okay, maybe by the mistake. Sorry.
You can unmute yourself. You can ask.
Someone raised the hand, so I don't know. 1 plus C.
Okay, one more thing I want to add. Actually, you can go for MS or either you can go directly for the PhD abroad. But similar thing is also possible in India. Okay. If you want to go for pursuing PhD without MPharm, so you can also apply in IITs. Like if you can check a brochure of IITs, you can go there directly for the PhD. UGC has approved this. You can directly go for the PhD without doing MPharm. It's all depends on credit. Credit you got through examinations. So if you earn the same credit in PhD, you can directly get the PhD degree without doing MPharm in India also.
Oh, this is new. I was not knowing that in India also
This
is
is
possible.
new. Actually, all IITs have started this. So you can pursue PhD without doing MPharm. Just you have to earn the same credit which
Credits,
you
yeah. Course
yes.
credits, the number of credits that you take your course. Exactly, which in four years of BPharm you complete that. Exactly. That's why we can directly do the PhD. That's correct. I think it's already 11:03. Are we taking more questions?
Anyone?
11:03.
Yeah,
Okay,
Dr. Pankaj, I think we can close up the session. If there are no more questions. And thank you for
Ma'am,
speaking. We made you speak a lot.
yes,
today.
ma'am.
It was a delight being
We truly appreciate your precious time, ma'am. Thank you so much. Like wealth of knowledge you have shared, like it was very beneficial for students like us.
Yeah.
We are very much unaware, and we are literally we are very discouraged for the now. At least me, I don't know about others, but me. Thank you so much, ma'am. You inspired me so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Pankaj, for scheduling this. It was a
I
delight
would
for me.
I would like to invite Dean sir or Dr. Satendra Kumar sir to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. As we come to close of this insightful session, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Kamalika Samanta for taking the time to share her knowledge and experience with us today. Dr. Samanta, your guidance on pursuing MS and research from universities abroad and has provided our students with invaluable insights. And I am sure that it has inspired many to take the next step in their academic and professional journeys. And I also would like to thank our Dean, School of Pharmacy, Sharda University, Professor Dr. Amrish Chandra, for his continuous support and leadership. A special thanks to Mr. Pankaj Dagar for the coordinating this wonderful session and ensuring its success. And my heartfelt, sincere thanks to Dr. Ankita Tiwari and Dr. Faradiba, the class coordinators of the final year and pre-final year. And along with the Ms. Priya Sharma, Mr. Arun Kumar, Dr. Preeti Singh, for the and the entire pharmacy teaching and non-teaching staff for their unwearying support. And last but not the least, I am very thankful to our host, Ms. Amika and Mr. Ankit, for smoothly steering the session and keeping it engaging for everyone. Finally, I would like to express my gratitude to all the students who have joined us today, and your active participation and eagerness to learn made this webinar or this seminar truly engaging. And I want to share with all of you. Let me permit Amika, just I want to share with all of you. चलो अपने यादों को जिंदगी का नाम देते हैं चलो अपने यादों को जिंदगी का नाम देते हैं जो देते हैं आज की बात को दिल में बसाते हैं इसी हौसले के साथ नए सफर की शुरुआत करते हैं so this is my share to all of you just for the encouragement of the students. And with all these words, I'm very thankful to Dr. Samanta again, and have a great evening to all of you. Thank you, everyone. And
thank you, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Samanta.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Dean,
Bye-bye.
sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
ये लोग तो ट्रेन बहुत अच्छी होती है वैसे तो, बाकी मत